Do you find yourself reaching for junk food late at night or getting lost in endless social media scrolling when you know you shouldn't? Breaking bad habits isn't impossible. Here's how. Hi everybody, this is Dr. Samreen. If you're here, it's probably because you have tried breaking bad habits and failed, or you're just looking for ways to be more productive. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone trying to make positive changes in life, you are at the right place. Alright, first things first. Let's see what are these bad habits and why they're so hard to break. So, a bad habit is anything that provides short-term pleasure but leads to long-term consequences. Whether it's procrastination, for instance, you're endlessly scrolling on your social media knowing that you're wasting time which you can use in completing your task. But to get that quick reward and pleasure, you continue engaging with the social media. Smoking could be another example of bad habit, or eating junk food. In order to break bad habits, we need to understand what habits really are. Well, habits are loops. It's a three-step process called the habit loop: cue, routine, and reward. This concept was popularized by Charles Duhigg in his book The Power of Habit. And the way he defines cue is that something triggers your brain to go into automatic mode. Routine is your actual behavior, whereas the reward is the brain gets a little dopamine hit. That's why it's so hard to break the cycle. I've also personally experienced this too. Whenever I'm feeling stressed, anxious about starting something new, or just tired, my instinct is to distract myself by mindlessly scrolling through my social media. And that stress, fear, or being tired acts as a trigger for me, leading me to pick up my phone almost automatically. The actual behavior is the endless scrolling, and the quick dopamine hit I get from seeing notifications of funny posts gives me a short-term sense of relief. But here's the problem. That short-term reward only keeps the cycle going. It's a perfect example of how easy it is to fall into bad habits, even when we know that they aren't helping us in the long run. Every single time we mention bad habits, you will hear people saying, "Oh, I can break bad habits because of my strong willpower, and I can use my willpower to improve myself." But here's the deal. Science shows that willpower is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more fatigue it gets. If you're using your willpower all day long, at some point it would not serve you the purpose. And actually there's a study as well from the American Psychological Association that found that willpower gets depleted throughout the day. It's called ego depletion, which is why resisting junk food at night feels impossible when you have been making decisions all day long. So what does that mean for us? It means that relying solely on willpower isn't enough. You need a strategy. People like Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, and Barack Obama all have one thing in common. They are obsessed with simplifying their life. They wore similar clothes every day to cut down decision fatigue. And the result, by reducing unnecessary decisions, they preserve their mental energy for more important tasks. And it's the same with breaking bad habits. You need to cut down the mental friction. So when you automate small tasks, for example, what to wear and what to eat, you free up willpower to tackle bigger things like avoiding bad habits. Okay, so after understanding what a bad habit really is, let's see how we can really overcome them. Step 1. Identify your triggers. Step 1 is simple but often overlooked. Every bad habit has a cue. It might be boredom, stress, or even social situation. Let me share a story. I had a friend who couldn't stop snacking at work. No matter how determined she was to eat healthier, by the middle of the afternoon, she'd find herself reaching for chips or cookies without even thinking. She couldn't figure out why it kept on happening with her. So I suggested she keep track of her day. After just a week of logging her habits, she had a light bulb moment. Every time she received a stressful email or faced a difficult task, she'd automatically reach for junk food. Stress was a trigger, and once she knew that, she started replacing the snack with a healthier coping mechanism, like taking a short walk around the office, or even just stepping outside for a few minutes to reset. And this process of identifying triggers works for any bad habit. Personally, I went through something similar when it came to mindlessly scrolling through social media. It took me some reflection, but I noticed that I'd pick up my phone whenever I was feeling overwhelmed or stuck on a task. And that quick distraction from social media gave me a break, but didn't help me in the long run. Once I became aware of this, I started being intentional about when I use my phone. So here's what I recommend. Start keeping a habit journal. Write down when, where, what you're doing when that bad habit shows up. This awareness is your first tool. It helped me, and I'm confident it would help you too. My step number 2, replace the bad habit. Here's where a lot of people go wrong. They think they can just stop a bad habit by sheer willpower. But research shows that's not how our brain works. According to a study in the European Journal of Social Psychology, habits are much more effectively replaced than simply removed. The brain craves routine and reward. So if you try to just eliminate a habit, you'll often fall back into it because there's nothing filling that gap. This reminds me of one of my classmates at the university who struggled with procrastination. She would always put off important tasks by binge watching Netflix. No matter how many times she told herself, okay, this is the last time, she would still end up wasting hours. But then she learned about replacing those bad habits, not just trying to stop them. Instead of aiming to quit Netflix cold turkey, she started replacing the habit with a short 10-minute burst of productivity. Whenever she felt the urge to procrastinate, she would allow herself to watch one episode only after completing a 10-minute study session. Gradually, she increased her work time, and before she knew it, she was more productive and less dependent on distractions. In the book Atomic Habit, this is also referred to as habit swap. James Clear explains that the key is not just to stop a bad habit, replace it with something positive that satisfies the same need. For example, if you tend to scroll through your social media before bed, like I did for the longest time, try swapping your phone with a book. Instead of leaving your phone on the bedside table, put it out of reach and replace it with a good book. This simple switch reduces friction, making it easier to form a new habit and gives you something else to focus on. Let's take this one step further. Imagine you have a habit of snacking on junk food, like my friend I mentioned earlier. After identifying her trigger, which was stress in her case, she replaced her casual chips with healthier alternatives like prepped veggies or nuts. She also started meal prepping on the weekends. So when those cravings hit, she had easy, healthy snacks ready to go. Not only did this help her break the cycle, but it saved her time during the week and kept her on track with her health goals. The research is also behind this. Studies have shown that replacing a bad habit with a good one is far more effective because you're still satisfying the underlying urge. But you're just doing it in a way that serves your long-term goals instead of working against them. So if you're struggling with a bad habit, don't just focus on quitting, swap it for something healthier, more productive, or more fulfilling. My strategy number 3 is use accountability and environment. One of the most powerful tools in breaking bad habits is leveraging accountability and creating a supportive environment. Research consistently shows that social accountability significantly increases your chances of success. According to a study published in the Journal of Applied Psychology, people who share their goals with others are 33% more likely to achieve them compared to those who do it alone. This is because we naturally don't want to let others down, and when someone else is counting on us, we feel a stronger sense of responsibility. During my university year, I had a housemate who really struggled with waking up early. She'd hit snooze until late morning, and her whole day would be thrown off. We both wanted to improve our routines, so we decided to become accountability partners. We made a pact to set 6 a.m. alarms and go for a run together every single morning. Knowing that someone else was depending on me to show up forced me to be more disciplined. Those days, when I didn't feel like it, I still get up because I didn't want to let her down. And you know what? It worked. Not only did we stick to the routine, but it also became easier over time. And I understand not all of us have people around us, so it doesn't have to stop at a friend or a partner. It can be as simple as sharing your goals with a group or even posting about them online. These days, you could use apps or platforms that track your progress and share with others. The key is knowing that someone is watching and rooting for your success. And equally important is how you shape your environment. Harvard researchers found that people are more likely to make healthy choices when their environment is structured to support those choices. And this phenomenon is referred to as choice architecture. For example, if you're trying to eat healthier, you're far more likely to succeed if your kitchen is stocked with fruits, vegetables, and nutrient snacks, rather than chips and sweets. When your environment is full of temptations, your willpower gets depleted every time you see them. But if those temptations are out of sight, whether it's unhealthy snacks, your phone, you're less likely to reach for them mindlessly. I've used this strategy myself to cut down on social media scrolling. For a while, I found myself wasting hours each day on my phone, so I started keeping my phone in a different room while I worked. But if that's not possible for you, another trick is to switch off your Wi-Fi for a set period of time and only turn it back when you just decide to. This cuts off the automatic behavior of reaching for your phone just because it's nearby. and removing the temptation made a huge difference in my productivity, and the same approach can work for any habit you're trying to break. The science behind this is very clear. Altering your surroundings helps reduce friction and makes it easier to stick to good habits. Whether you're trying to cut out junk food, stay off social media, or build any positive routine, the fewer distractions and temptations around you, the better your chances of succeeding. Alright, let's wrap this up with some final tips. Breaking bad habits isn't easy, but with these strategies, it's 100% possible. Identify your triggers, replace the habit with a positive one, get an accountability partner, and optimize your environment. Breaking bad habits takes time and patience. Be kind to yourself and remember that small changes lead to big results. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more practical advice on leveling up your life. Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below about the habit you are trying to break, and let's support each other in this journey. Until next time, take really good care of yourself. Bye.